Greetings. The Crown Prince and Prime Minister of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, watching us, wants to know my thoughts and our thoughts on Israeli strikes on Qatar, in Doha, Qatar. I'm just checking out the news here on Google quickly. This is from CNN from 4 hours ago. It says Israel carries out attack in Qatar targeting Hamas leaders. Israel carried out an attack against Hamas leadership in the capital of Qatar, which is Doha, which has been a key mediator in Gaza ceasefire talks. I see. Yeah, this is from Al Jazeera from 9 hours ago. Says Israel attacks Hamas leadership in Qatar. Israel struck Qatar's capital, Doha, on Tuesday, which was what? Yesterday, I think, because it's Wednesday today. In missile attacks that it said were aimed at senior leaders of Hamas, including negotiators. Yeah, because Qatar has been a key mediator in Gaza ceasefire talks. I see. So what is really going on here? What's this from CBC from 15 hours ago? Netanyahu says Doha strike was retaliation for Jerusalem. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the strike was in retaliation for the shooting attack at a Jerusalem bus stop Monday that killed, and I'm not going into the news articles, so and here we go again. Netanyahu strikes yet another Middle Eastern and or Muslim country. I'm just thinking, how many Middle Eastern and or Muslim countries Netanyahu has struck? Now, I think the last attack was on Syria, and he's also done airstrikes in Lebanon, and of course, Iran, though Iran is not exactly in the Middle East, but it's like South Asia, but that's still a Muslim country. I mean, Iran is still a Muslim country. And of course, Netanyahu has had Trump attack Yemen, the Houthis in Yemen. So, I mean, I've already been talking about this in my previous videos, and I've already said this in a previous video that the devil Baphomet is overtaking the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, is overtaking the Russian President Putin, and is also overtaking the US President Trump. That's why President Trump just keeps trying to start a war somewhere too. And that's the thing. You politicians, it's like, I don't know how many of you are open to the spiritual side of things that are affecting world politics. So this is what is going on. I've already said that, and I've already been saying that our world is under threat. And Commander Ashtar has said this just in the previous video I posted just yesterday, that our world is under threat. Our world is in danger of a global war and or a third world war. And I've already said this in a previous video that President Putin is trying to start World War III with attacking Ukraine. And of course, he wants to expand into other European countries. He wants to expand his war into other European countries too. And that would trigger and or start a third world war. And then I've also said that Prime Minister Netanyahu is attacking the Middle East and Muslim countries. So that could trigger and or cause the third world war to begin as well. So we're looking at Europe with President Putin trying to trigger and start a third world war. And then we're looking at Prime Minister Netanyahu trying to trigger and start a war or a third world war in the Middle East and with Muslim countries. So it's like President Putin in the West and Prime Minister Netanyahu in the East and Middle East. And now I'm also remembering, it's coming back to me. In one of my previous videos, I did say, who is Prime Minister Netanyahu going to strike next in the Middle East? Which country? And there we go. We have Netanyahu striking Qatar. Now, what I'm getting on this attack on Hamas leadership in Doha, Qatar, is that bunch of Hamas leadership, they are not terrorists. And then I just read that news, the news saying Israel carried out an attack against Hamas leadership in the capital of Qatar, which has been a key mediator in Gaza ceasefire talks. And these missile attacks were aimed at senior leaders of Hamas, including negotiators. So that's what I'm getting, that bunch in Doha, Qatar of Hamas leadership, they are not terrorists. If anything, they are trying to help the peace process and the ceasefire talks between Israel and the Middle East. And God and the Arcturians and Commander Ashtar are confirming that regarding Hamas leadership in Qatar, that yes, I mean, this message is coming from them. They're telling me that this bunch of Hamas leadership in Qatar, they are not terrorists, and they were helping the ceasefire talks and the peace process between Israel and the Middle East and Palestinians and Hamas. And Netanyahu still goes and attacks them. Now, I've already prophesied in a previous video that if Prime Minister Netanyahu does not stop starvation and killing and destruction in Gaza, that death by fire is his fate, sealed by God. And I was also just given a vision of, like a couple of nights ago, I was given a vision of, I was shown Netanyahu burning. I was given a vision of Prime Minister Netanyahu burning. And that message came from planet Saturn, because planet Saturn is the one who serves karma or karma and judgment from God. So that vision came from planet Saturn, and I was shown Prime Minister Netanyahu burning in that vision. And planet Saturn told me that around this full moon total lunar eclipse, which is also called a blood moon, that we've just had on the 7th of September, or 7th and 8th of September this month, 2025, that Saturn gave Netanyahu a dream where Saturn showed Netanyahu that he would burn, and confirmed my prophecy to Prime Minister Netanyahu. Prime Minister Netanyahu has been shown himself burning in a dream around this full moon, total lunar eclipse, blood moon time and energy that we've just had. Prime Minister Netanyahu was given a dream where he was shown himself burning, confirming my prophecy on him. And I don't know, did he not get it? Or did he ignore that dream warning as well? And then he goes on and attacks Qatar. After getting that dream of himself burning, confirming my prophecy on his life and death, confirming my prophecy on his death by fire, I suppose he ignored that dream warning and he went on to attack Qatar. Well then, what is God to do with Netanyahu? He's ignoring all the warnings coming through me from God. So, what's going to happen here then? Is God really going to have to bring death by fire to Prime Minister Netanyahu? I'm gonna leave it there. Take care. Stay safe. Over and out.